China's economic upswing has ushered in a new affluence that's cut loose deeper culinary experimentation. And in the heart of a major metro area that's world famous for its exotic cuisine, the menu at Guo Li Zhuang is unusual even by Beijing standards. Joy Qishui is a Beijing native, and as an international business consultant, she takes visiting clients to the most intriguing places. Right away, I can tell that Guo Li Zhuang is not your everyday eatery. First of all, there's no public dining area here, just a small number of private rooms. The Chinese associate privacy with prestige. However, the mystique here has more to do with the food. Guo Li Zhuang is said to be the world's first penis restaurant.
Wow, interesting. You can sort of tell what kind of restaurant it is by the artwork.
The Chinese believe that the penis holds especially concentrated nutritional benefits. There's more than 30 different varieties offered here, from deer and sheep to ox and seal.
Don't look too excited, Joy.
No,
I'm really thrilled.
You are.
I am. I've never. Look, there are lots of restaurants in the world that have one or two penis dishes on the menu, but I've never been in a restaurant that specializes in only. So, you know, how many times are we going to have this opportunity?
Many of the dishes are thought to have specific benefits. Snake penis is supposed to be good for the kidneys. It's served whole as part of a fish soup.
谢谢. This is snake.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
the snake penis is much softer and less fibrous than I thought it would be.
Mine is bigger. Why?
Not at all. Not at all.
It's much bigger than yours.
Oh, you're right. That's very true. Maybe try the other one. The other one is little. It's very good for your kidneys and for your skin.
It has bones?
Not really. That's what I was talking about when I said it's a little twiggy. There's very small, it's kind of like the way the ears have bones, you know, just very gentle in there.
The penis dishes are cooked to order. Next, we're trying deer penis sliced and fried.
Nice.
Very. The sauce is fantastic. The penis is extremely chewy, very chewy. But it almost has a very neutral flavor, like cartilage, like tendon. I'll have another bite if you try it. Cheers.
It's good.
Yeah, not bad. You gotta work at it. This is very fresh.
Yeah.
It's not gamey at all.
Not bad.
Some of the items are prepared tableside. Our server fills this hot pot with tortoise, seahorse, and herbs. Then she adds a variety of penises that will cook in just a few minutes.
Enjoy it.
All right, try the yak penis. Oh, that one is so chewy. And this is just melts in your mouth.
Yak is delicate, tender, and very lean.
I like the yak penis best of all because it actually tastes like something. This tastes almost beefy. I would have thought that it was a steer or bull's penis.
Guo Li Zhuang is unconventional by Western standards, and I'm not convinced these restaurants will be the next food phenomenon to circle the world. But it's a Beijing experience that's not to be missed. You know the old saying, when in Rome? Well, when in Iceland, you do as the Vikings do, which means you head towards the sea where Icelanders eat a vile and revolting dish known as Hakar. Simply put, it's rotten shark. I'm told eating it without gagging separates the men from the boys. The largest farm where Hakar is produced is located an intentional 3 hours from Reykjavik. Producers aren't allowed anywhere near civilization because the smell is so foul. People are known to get violently sick just from the stench. Take a look at the Hildebrander farm. Talk about picturesque, but the beauty takes a back seat to the overriding agitation to your olfactory senses. I know in an instant where the putrefied shark is kept, an old wooden hut up the road. Hakar is made from the Greenlandic shark, which is one of the few sharks able to live in the cold Atlantic waters here. They say the meat is poisonous when fresh because of the shark's high level of uremic acid. Those who attempt to eat the meat too soon have been known to vomit blood. Iceland's ancestors spent years trying to figure out how to treat the meat so that it can be eaten. Their solution? Let it rot. Gudjon Hildebrander runs the family Hakar business. So the fish comes out of the water and it comes to you.
Yeah.
You don't just keep it here on the...
No, we don't keep it here. Well, we just cut it similar like normal fish, and we cut it in 5 or 10 kilos pieces and put it in special wooden boxes for fermentation for 6 till 8 weeks.
Wow. And then what happens?
Then we hang the pieces up for drying.
Can we see it in the boxes?
No, I'm sorry, you can't.
Why not?
Well, there has to be a secret.
I appreciate that. Can we see it in the drying room?
We can take a look at it.
All right. Holy moly. This is incredible. My God. Hanging from the rafters are 60 sharks, all cut up in pieces like they were ham shanks. Each chunk that you see here is 3 times smaller than its original size. The meat naturally shrinks during the fermentation process, making it easier for Gudjon to cut and hang each slab. They'll hang here for at least 2 to 3 months before eating. The skin looks like it would just rip you open if you touched it. It's so sharp.
Yeah, it's very sharp. And in the old days, they used it like for sandpaper. They tried to use everything in back then.
I have to admit, Hakar looks edible, but there's something about unrefrigerated meat hanging on hooks unprotected from the elements that makes me a little wary. It smells like something died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you a very good piece.
I like mine medium rare and not too oily.
Okay, that's no problem.
It's very accommodating, these Icelanders.
We have a very, very good one here.
Oh, yeah, I was eyeing that piece before. Wow.
Beautiful piece.
That is stunning. Do you need me to grab a piece of fence to put it on?
No, that's okay.
Yeah, you're all right?
Yeah,
You're just gonna nail it up or something?
Yeah, maybe we'll just put it up here.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
And, see. Nice one. And smell it.
Oh, my gosh.
It doesn't...
It smells like ammonia.
Yeah. Do you want one?
Sure. The smell is a little intimidating.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, boy, you are one ballsy dude. Okay.
How is it?
Tastes much better than it smells. That smell reminds me of some of the most horrific things I've ever breathed in my life. But the taste of it is sweet, it's nutty, and it's only faintly fishy. I'll take another piece.
Another one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. It's very healthy. This is very good for your stomach. A lot of people eat it like for their health.
Psychologically, you're predisposed not to want to eat it. It just seems more dangerous now, but I trust you. You're the expert's expert. Oh, that's hardcore. That's serious food. You don't want to mess with that. That's not for beginners. Oh my gosh. If rotted shark meat is an Icelandic initiation, I think I've passed the test. I like this kind of stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ooh.
Nice. So we have
Fresh sheep's blood, purchased directly from the slaughterhouse this morning. Now this is rootsy food at its best.
nice. Okay.
We're making something called slaughter. Get it? Slaughter? Slaughter? The blood is the first thing that needs to be dealt with right away after the animal is killed, or you can't preserve it. First, we strain and measure a liter of the blood.
It's there. Fine. 1 liter.
Beautiful. Then, add a couple of cups of cold water and a tablespoon or 2 of sea
From the
salt.
slaughterhouse. Half of this.
Mix a little. Now, I know what you're thinking, but this is going to be worth the gory trouble. Slaughter dates back to this country's origin. Some know it as blood or black pudding. In my opinion, not enough families are passing on these treasured recipes.
Nice color.
Beautiful. The next crucial ingredient? Carefully measured rye flour. Do the kids eat it?
Yeah, they love it.
Of course.
All the
Of
kids
course.
love it.
Kids love slaughter.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? Dada mixes the blood batter with her hands to eliminate lumps. All the time, adding oats and more rye flour until it's the perfect paste. Then, chunks of fresh white-pink fat, also right from the slaughterhouse.
So you're the chef, so you get the honors.
All right, how small do you want it?
That depends on if you're old school or new school. So if you're a modern person, you want it very small, so you don't see the claws or the fat. But like my husband, he likes it, you know, big.
Just the way his mom made it. This is Icelandic comfort food.
I was always told that never mix it with anything else than your hands.
Well, you know, the hands are the best tools that you have in the kitchen.
Without a doubt. They're the most useful. They never wear out. You never have to replace them, as long as you're careful with your knife. Like all slaughter experts, she uses the lining of the sheep's stomach to hold the mixture together as it cooks. The lining is cut into various size pieces and sewn into sock-like pouches.
You can see they're not all the same shapes.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Yep, that's some sort of trapezoid, some sort of odd thing. This one is cut into the shape of Bolivia. I like that. Oh! Check this one out. It's Iceland.
Each stomach is filled up about halfway because the slaughter will swell from the grains and the oats that are in the mix. We sew the ends with twine and then boil them for almost an hour.
All right.
Dada's recipe has been handed down since the 30s, and as a child, Dada and her family's neighbors made enough slaughter in a weekend to last the entire winter.
Frankenstein food. All stitched up, nowhere to go, but in my stomach. Ooh. See, your husband would approve of that because there's the nice big pieces of fat. Delightful. Cheers. Oh. This is not so much a blood pudding as it is sort of like a blood cake. It tastes spongy, like a steamed sweet pudding, but with blood and fat. And not a lot else going on in there. I'm thinking the next time I make this, I do a little minced onion, I like the raisin idea too. This is delicious. This is delicious. You can taste the blood. Irony, deep, minerally. The texture is funky too. It's chewy. It's much more like a dense cake than I thought it would be.
Drive less than an hour outside La Paz, Bolivia, and you'll see dramatic views of the Andes, the longest mountain range on the planet. Just above the city is another geographical wonder, the Altiplano, or High Plain. The climate here is unusually chilly, and temperatures dip to near freezing almost every night, making it the perfect climate for one of my favorite foods, the potato. Bolivia is the birthplace of the potato. The knotty root vegetable grows well in the extreme dry and varied Andes climate, and as a result, it holds a revered place in Bolivian cuisine. People here are obsessed with it, and believe it or not, the version everyone loves to eat isn't even fresh. They call it the Chuno, a naturally freeze-dried potato that looks like something most of us would throw away. But chunos are big business in this country, and to find out more, I'm going straight to the source. My guide, Jaime Terran, is a friend of the Torres family. They're fourth-generation potato farmers out here on the Altiplano.
It's been a long time since I've seen a 3-burner stove that's completely fired by animal dung. But I guess very few trees around here. You got to use any fuel you can.
And they're very common here.
Yeah, oh, sure.
Emeterio, his wife, and 11 kids live self-sufficiently on about 10 acres. The entire family works the farm, and they all dwell in the same building where they store their potatoes and house their livestock. No potato goes to waste. Some of them are used for seed. Some are eaten as anyone would eat potatoes or sold in the market, but others are kept around and they make chunos with them.
Aparte para chuño.
Okay.
Now, making chunos is a strange process, as are the results.
Ahora vas a trabajar.
He's gonna make you work now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm up for that.
Le encanta trabajar.
Assuming I don't break his bridge.
Yeah, no, after you.
The first step in the process is to let the potatoes freeze overnight. Then they thaw when the sun comes out the next day, then freeze the next night, then thaw the next day, then freeze the next night. Then they're peeled, they're dried, and voila, you've got chunos.
¿Quieres trabajar?
Do you want to work?
Me?
Sí.
Sure. You mean stomp the potatoes?
Sí, sacate tu zapato.
Yeah.
It's common practice to wash your feet before mashing. We're going to eat these ones after all.
Ask him how much he weighs.
¿Cuánto pesas tú, Emeterio?
Yo peso 47 kilos nomás.
47 kilos.
47 kilos.
¿De cuánto kilo pesa, señor?
I weigh twice what he does.
Él pesa el doble que vos.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to be a really good stomper.
Sí, hazlo, prueba, así.
All right. Ooh,
Así.
they're soft, rotten, and warm. That's one of the more disgusting things I've ever felt in my life. By the way.
Todo lo has aplastado.
Yeah, I'm.
Gordo eres.
Yeah.
He says you're a little overweight. You're stomping in too much. You have
Too
to try
much?
You have to try to peel them off, not crush them down.
Oh.
It's
Tienes que
not.
matar así.
You're killing the potatoes, he says.
Tiene que salir así,
Like that.
enterito. Mira, no está muerto.
Oh, I didn't get the
Ya has
point.
matado la papa.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to do that. Oh, okay. I'll tread lighter.
The goal is to gently remove the skin from the potatoes.
But how come his aren't squished?
Está bueno eso.
Deberías aplastarlos más porque eres más liviano, ¿no? ¿No puedes?
No hay caso, porque mira.
You're not doing it with sentiment. He's loving the potatoes. That's why it takes longer for him.
Look at that.
Ahí está.
Ya
Perfecto.
estás aprendiendo, ya estás aprendiendo.
You're learning.
Listo, ya, bueno.
This, my friend, is a perfectly prepared chuno.
These batches of tots need to freeze and dry for one more night in the cold before they're ready to eat. But Emeterio has some others that we can taste right now. They're hard as rocks, a sign of an edible chuno. And if we find other things in this dirt pile, well, that's okay.
Now, do we leave the rabbit behind, or does that go in the soup too?
It's like a pea.
Oh, all right. I mean, because I don't mind.
Para Chero llevaremos ahora.
Yeah.
Eso es todo. Ya está lindo.
Because chunos are so hard, they're often added to soups or stews.
That soup smells so good.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Vos también hazlo prueba.
Do you want to put some chuno in the soup?
Todo?
Todito se echa. Listo.
This soup also contains farm-fresh carrots, fava beans, peas, and llama jerky.
Oh, muchas gracias.
Cáscalo.
Oh.
Despacito vas a comer.
The flavor is just incomparable. There is a slightly ripe flavor that comes from the machado de chunos. Now, that could also be the gaminess of the charque de llama. The sweetness, you can taste the carrot in the soup and the peas and the favas.
Totally.
I need about 10 more bowls of this.
Okay.
This is fantastic. Muchas gracias, my friend. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for having us into your home.
Muchas gracias por acogernos en tu casa.
Así nomás es. Aquí en el campo nosotros recibimos.
That's the
Gracias
way-
por la visita.
That's the way we people are here in the country.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
Bien.
You're always welcome.
muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Eso es.
As only the Japanese can do with all of their wacky food creativity, I'm sitting in a restaurant that specializes in mayonnaise. There's mayonnaise in every dish. There are trendy young Tokyo dwellers who've developed a passion for mayonnaise. They call themselves Mayora, meaning the Mayo folk. They keep this place in business. Me? I'm just here doing my job. Right here, mayonnaise fondue. A boiling vat, a cauldron, if you will, of hot, broken, oily, eggy mayonnaise. Oh, Lord. No, that's just wrong. Perhaps some delicious baked potato with mayonnaise. At least that makes sense flavor-wise. I mean, fat and potatoes, it works. This is just fat and fat. Mayonnaise does work pretty well with some things, like this sausage made of ground-up chicken cartilage. I would like to continue to eat more of that, but I don't want my mayonnaise milkshake to get too warm. If anyone wants to try this at home,
Oh, my gosh.
you just throw ice cubes in the blender along with 2 scoops of vanilla and 2 scoops of mayonnaise. And it tastes like, surprise, cold sweet mayonnaise.
Wow. Here's the thing. I'm not really sure that there's a mayonnaise restaurant that's coming to the mall near you, but if there is, run away. Run away very, very quickly.
This is Nobu Matsuhisa, who began as a sushi chef right here in Tokyo and built an empire of 19 restaurants worldwide. Nobu's restaurants always create a feeling of cool, modern elegance. But here, he's got access to seafood ingredients you just don't find in many other places, including something I've never even seen before.
Octopus egg. It's a bit on the octopus inside.
The octopus egg is really a translucent sac holding thousands of tiny octopus, so small they can barely be seen by the naked eye. Nobu starts by cutting away the outer membrane, very carefully.
If you cut the whole thing apart, you'd have a million little floating dots in there.
Exactly.
The octopus egg simmers in a mix of fish stock and soy sauce. Once it's cooked, the solidified eggs inside look a little bit like cauliflower. But in your mouth, it's got a texture like nothing I've ever eaten.
Oh my God. The texture there, it's so creamy on the inside, and the outside, the eggs are grainy. It's beautiful.
See, still the two different colors, outside and the inside.
And it works really nicely with the broth. Very, very light. Because otherwise you wouldn't taste the octopus, which has a creamy richness, almost like sweetbreads.
And I've had sea cucumber before, but I've never seen anyone harvest the eggs. Nobu combines the ovaries and eggs from 120 sea cucumbers into one precious slice of solid cucumber egg jerky.
I didn't even know that existed. And it's almost like, there's almost a fruity quality to it. It's sweet. That's amazing. See, when you eat something like this, when I taste something like that, I'm always amazed at how great the food world is. That's what's exciting to me about food.
Not all the ingredients have to be unusual, but they do have to be fresh. It's common for animals here to give up their lives just moments before they're turned into food. And that creates opportunities, like this chaser of freshly drained turtle blood, cut with a little sake or apple juice if you're so inclined.
Fantastic.
See, it's the fresh one doesn't smell the blood.
No, not at all. And it's, you know, mixed with the juice or the sake, it works out really well. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice. I'll tell you something. I know it sounds crazy, but the more that you drink blood, the less unusual it becomes, and the more you realize that there's different flavors. Reptile blood's very clean. It's very, you know, it doesn't, not a lot of hemoglobin in it. It's not as minerally as...
Doesn't smell the blood.
Right.
Just smells sake. And they're very clean, too.
Yeah.
Lake Biwa is Japan's largest lake, and it's home to the funa, a rare species of carp that's used to make a prized local delicacy. The funa are transformed into something called Funazushi, and it can take 3 to 5 years to fully mature it. The town of Nagahama, on the north shore of Lake Biwa, is the only place in the world where they make it. With Toshio Hanaoka as my guide, I'm here to see a process that hasn't changed in, about 400 years. And it all starts at the local hatchery.
Are these fish fresh?
新鮮ですね。
もちろん。はい。今朝取れたばっかり。It's a little fish farming humor.
Each fish is cleaned and then gutted through the gills without cutting into the fish. That's because every fish used for funazushi carries an egg sac, and you want to keep the eggs inside and intact to add to the flavor of the final product. A handful of salt, and this fish is ready for the next phase. That happens here at Kitashina. Atsushi Kitamura represents the 18th generation of funazushi makers in his family.
I'm honored to be here. This is so cool.
This place has been making and selling funazushi since 1619. The salted funa goes into huge wooden barrels, the same ones used for hundreds of years. Along with the fish go layer after layer of rice mixed with vinegar. Once the fish and the rice go into a barrel, they stay there for any place from 1 to 4 years. So when that lid finally comes off, well, you can imagine the smell.
Ooh.
Then again, maybe you can't imagine it.
Come on. Sometimes food is so weird you just gotta laugh.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, that has got some stink going. Woo. Smell that.
It smells rotten, but the stink is really created by microbes in that fermented rice that prevent the fish from spoiling.
99% of that smell is not dried salted fish. It's fermented rice.
Right.
It's the vegetable matter that's decomposing around that fish.
And after as much as 4 years in a barrel, this Funazushi's still not done.
How long is it dry in the sun on the clothesline?
これを取り出したものはどのくらい？大体3時間ぐらい。It's about 3 hours.
3 hours drying in the hot sun, then back into the barrel with more rice for at least another year.
And then it's ready to be eaten?
Yes, it's ready to eat.
Wow. Wow. That, my friend, is slow food.
All that time and labor make this a rare dish. The Japanese emperor came and bought Funazushi from this family last year. Today, a single prepared fish costs 5,000 yen, about $50 US. That's one reason fewer Japanese are eating it, as well as a stink that could peel paint off the walls.
Well,
Okay.
you ready?
Yeah, okay.
You sure about this?
Okay.
Turns out, Toshio, like most younger Japanese, has never even tried Funazushi.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking me here.
Oh, no problem. Let's see.
5-year-old fish.
What do you think?
It's pretty nasty. Do you like it?
It's not so bad. It's better than I thought.
You're being nice.
It's better than I thought, yeah. I thought
It's very harsh.
it is.
That's very hard. I mean, you're miserable right now. I can see it on your face.
I'll have this
no.
sushi.
That's all right.
No.
I understand. This is probably one of the foulest tasting things I've ever eaten. And I've eaten some really foul tasting stuff. That doesn't mean it's not highly refined or specialized, or that their art form or their tradition is any less important. I mean, this is 5-year-old fish that's never seen a refrigerator. I've never tasted anything like this before.
Brian is doing the cooking today at the Ember restaurant at the Snowshoe Mountain Resort. And the most common squirrel dinner is chicken fried squirrel. You soak the squirrel overnight in salted water to purge any off flavors and blood from the meat, dip it in buttermilk and egg, and dredge it in seasoned flour.
Now, this is pretty much everything but the head.
Correct.
And you're frying in lard.
We're frying in bacon fat.
In bacon?
Yeah.
Yes!
Growing up, we just kept bacon grease on the stove.
Oh, that's
There was
fantastic.
a jar of it on the stove, and you use that for everything. Yeah.
But this is a kitchen where mountain tradition mixes with haute cuisine.
What is this?
Roasted squirrel, sort of a squirrel au vin, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is red wine heaven.
And it gets even fancier. This is a block of Tahitian sea salt, heated to 600 degrees. It's used for searing squirrel meat on skewers.
That's fantastic.
The oceanic flavor from the salt is absorbed by the meat as it cooks on the hot slab.
Yeah, and you know, we do it here at the restaurant too, and you know, it just gives the guests the opportunity to play with their food, you know?
Yeah. People love that.
Absolutely.
And with that, we're ready to eat. Brian's invited a few friends to share the Squirrel Feast. The setting shows the inexorable flow of Appalachian culture, the enduring legacy of a hard-scrabble past, finding its place in the more sophisticated settings of modern life.
Would you pass me the squirrel au vin that's in front of you?
That's roasted squirrel braised in red wine with whole mustard and vegetables.
Well, this is very French and elegant.
Yes.
It's super lean. It's really good for you. I mean, look at that meat there.
And
it's like a cross between, you know, duck and pork.
And here's the chicken fried squirrel.
The meat tastes like pork shoulder. Yeah. That's extraordinary.
Crisp on the outside, tender on the inside.
Delicious.
I need another leg. Oh, yeah.
That's old-fashioned Appalachia. This is more Apple-Asian.
Now, this is dramatic because I got news for you. Our ancestors did not do it this way.
Right.
This is genius.
It's so good.
sweet and salty. I mean, that's the best combo.
And lest we forget, there's still the squirrel brains. Lucky for me, I'm an experienced skull cracker.
Here's the little skull, right? And you can see there's almost like a little marker, that little highbrow area there. If you grab it from around the ocular socket, you can just peel those away. And then what's sitting right there is the brain.
Do it. I want to see. Crunchy?
Soft and creamy. The brains are delicious. Very creamy, tastes more like calf's liver than anything else. The larger animals, I mean, a swine brain really tastes like pork. You know, a lamb brain really tastes like lamb.
Right.
These are very mild and really, really nice.
Small mountain game victuals are an enduring tradition here, and so is the pastiche of a close-knit community and great music. Along with the occasional sip of the legendary mountain treat, real home-brewed moonshine.
May those that love us, and those that don't, may you twist their ankle so we'll know them by their limping.
When you roll into Shelby, North Carolina, it looks like hundreds of other towns dotting Appalachia. Tree-lined, traditional, unhurried. But this North Carolina town of 20,000 has one thing entirely its own. It's a food they invented and love to celebrate. And that's why I'm here. Excuse me, I'm looking for the Shelby Liver Mush Festival. Every year, Shelby celebrates the local delicacy with that indelicate name. Don't feel bad if you've never heard of it. Once you get to the Cleveland county line, it pretty much disappears. But inside the county line, it's everywhere. Stores, restaurants. If you do business in Shelby, you better be able to serve liver mush. I gotta say, it doesn't look like much to celebrate. Shelby's mayor, Ted Alexander, is patient with my ignorance of the finer things in life.
It's so versatile. It's one of the world's most versatile foods. So you can have it like on a sandwich. Some people just take it right off the block and eat it without cooking it. Some people will fry it up real crispy. Sometimes it's real thin. You can eat it for breakfast. You can eat it for lunch. You can eat it for dinner. Any meal, you could have liver mush.
Okay, but that still doesn't tell us what it is. For that, the mayor takes me to Ora's, the only place in town where they still know how to make liver mush by hand instead of mass producing it. The owner and liver mush maker extraordinaire is Erwin Price.
The process was to use everything on the hog. So you use the head, the skin, the fat that was left over, and the livers to make something that could be edible for us around here.
Right. After the meat is cooked, Erwin grinds it into a fine but mushy consistency, then puts it in another pot with cornmeal and spices. And this is what eventually gets baked into a loaf. This concoction dates back to the first settlers who came here about 300 years ago. But it really came into its own during hard times, like the Civil War and the Great Depression.
During the Depression, when everything had to be used and efficiency-wise, liver mush was a great answer to that. So
it's fantastic.
Now that I'm educated, I'm ready to give this stuff a try. But I've got a choice to make.
Sometimes people like mayonnaise, some like mustard, some like grape jelly. I kind of like to put mustard and mayonnaise together.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
And it's really good.
You're a radical, but you're the mayor, so you can do whatever you want.
Max is one of the local producers who've been mushing pig livers for more than 60 years.
Can we get a pair of sandwiches?
Sure can.
Now, what are you, mayo, mustard, or grape jelly?
Grape jelly.
You're grape jelly, see? See?
99% of the people are straight mustard.
Really?
You're on TV.
You never eaten liver mush?
No, I haven't.
First opportunity.
I don't want to miss out on a technique, so I'm going half mustard, half grape jelly so I can see what it's all about. Mustard or grape jelly first?
Grape jelly.
Good, isn't it?
This is fantastic.
It is good.
It's not for everyone. It is. I mean, because if you don't like liver, you got to be discounted. But basically, you're just taking slices of this and pan frying it or deep frying it.
Yeah.
This is like fried liverwurst.
Really?
I love this.
Probably better.
It is better.
Yeah.
It is better because you have the textural
crunch of the whole thing. For anyone out there who's never sampled liverwurst, just imagine the taste of pureed liver, seasoned with onions, sweet spice, and black pepper.
All right, here we go with the
grape jelly. Yeah.
Jelly. It's awesome, isn't it?
Strange as it seems, this is really the Appalachian equivalent of the European preference of serving chutneys or sweet fruit sauces with their terrines.
This is the Piedmont pate.
Hold on, I'll get you.
It's that good.
So yes, it's tasty stuff, but to really understand Shelby's passion for liver mush, you have to include the comfort food factor. Just ask a guy like Joe Edwards. He makes the ice cream on special occasions, like today, using technology that's been around almost as long as liver mush has.
Why do people like liver mush so much? What's the deal with liver mush?
These people around here were raised on liver mush. They've had it when they were a kid and all their life, and they got to have liver mush around the park.
Gotta have it.
Got to have it.
I think that's the real secret. Food we know the best is the food we love the best. And you need that kind of enthusiasm to keep micro-regional food traditions alive and well. That's a cause I'm glad to pitch in and support.
There you go. What's your name?
Andrew.
Real? Oh, well, Andrew, I'm Andrew. It's really nice to meet you. Do you like liver mush sandwiches? You don't? It's an acquired taste.
It's okay. We'll win him over one of these days. Bright and early, in a quiet corner of Bangkok's inner city, there's a Lilliputian restaurant that's not even a hole in the wall. It's a covered alleyway between two buildings with a makeshift kitchen built out front. The name says it all. Thai-made meatballs and pork brains.
Look at that. Beautiful poached lobes of fresh pig brain. But what people really come here for is the broth and all the other goodies that go into it.
Pork brain soup is a specialty of Hakka cuisine, the food of southern China. Sutit Solomanka's family emigrated from China, and she's been making soup here for more than 50 years.
Oh, thank you.
One bowl is just brains. The other is brains with everything.
Fish balls, tofu, a little bit of pork intestine.
Pig brains usually taste pretty swiney, with a strong barnyard aroma. But in Sutit's place, they're like sweet porky pudding.
The pork brain here is creamy, rich. This is breakfast soup.
What makes the difference is the tender, loving care that goes into every bowl.
Every single element in the soup is poached and cleaned separately. There's not an off or gamey flavor in it. If you shut your eyes, you really can't even tell that you're eating pork innards. There's none of that, you know, poopy, piggy smell that you associate with this soup in so many other countries.
It's no wonder this humble little place is legendary for Bangkok food lovers.
Thank you so much. That was just delicious. Delicious.
This kind of meal in a bowl is classically Bangkok in style. A little eatery creates one rich, spicy broth and fills it with a variety of ingredients. Here in the bustling business district, there's a food joint that's really just an open-air tent where they fill their brothy bowls with one of Bangkok's most beloved signature foods. Boat noodles got their name in the 19th century when floating lunch wagons went up and down Bangkok's canal selling meals in a bowl to workmen along the water.
Notice how low they sit in the bowl so they wouldn't spill if a little wave came along. This is noodles, little bits of beef liver, beef, fish ball, heart, some tendon.
The ingredients in the soup can vary from place to place, but there's one ingredient that's a must: fresh cow's blood.
That's not black pepper or spices, that's just little coagulated bits of beef blood. Man, that's good. In a lot of cultures, they add blood to soups as a thickener. But the reason that I like it in Thailand the best is that the soup itself is that sweet sour soup that's so loaded with lime juice and citrus that the blood has a perfect foil. The Thais are such masters at layering flavor, that licorice and anise from the Thai basil, the sulfur from the scallions and onions, the deep, earthy, dank soil, farmland, loamy goodness of that bloody broth.
In spite of the intense farm flavor, this kind of food was born and bred in the big city. But some of the most interesting food in Bangkok was brought by immigrants from Thailand's countryside, including a dish that starts out with 3 feet of raw bull penis. In this little shack behind Bangkok's Lumpini Park, that penis will be turned into a soup originally from Isan, the rural farming country in northeastern Thailand. The whole penis is blanched, skinned, and then hacked to pieces. I'm guessing a bunch of guys watching TV right now just crossed their legs. Once the penis is thoroughly chopped, it's back into the pot to stew for a couple of hours. Then, it's served with plenty of vegetables in a Thai steamboat to keep it piping hot. The bull penis gets all the publicity, but it's really the broth that's doing the heavy lifting for this dish. It's like beef consommé with Chinese sweet spices. Pretty nice. Wow, that broth is strong, and with a lot of chili tamarind paste in there. It's spicy and sour, but I'll tell you, it's the sticky, chewy, almost jello-like quality that the bull penis has that really makes this dish what it is. I don't want to brag, but I've had a lot of experience with this type of dish over the years, and I've learned a few things. The larger phalluses are easier to eat. They're softer, they're not as toothsome. The smaller the penis, the sort of crunchier and harder it is to cook right. The truth is, almost no one eats this dish just for the taste. The food is supposed to improve strength, virility, and stamina. In fact, men on the Chinese Olympic team eat a bowl of bull penis soup for breakfast every day. Better them than me. Well, what would be the best way to describe the texture of bull penis? It's kind of like a carrot made out of petroleum jelly with kind of just enough body to hold together. It's not the most pleasant of textures, let's be honest with each other. Wow. Exploring food in Bangkok, the surprises can't all be good ones, but the amazing fact is that there are so many surprises to discover. Cabbages and Condoms may be the only restaurant in the world dedicated to the promotion of protected sex. It's the brainchild of the cerebral Mekai Viravaidya, PhD, a passionate philanthropist, recipient of a $1 million grant from the Gates Foundation. Let's be honest, you also have one of the greatest senses of humors of anyone that I've ever met, because you have a giant condom Santa Claus not 3 feet away from where we are. Mekai has a sense of humor with a serious purpose. The restaurant fully funds a health clinic and programs for schools that teach children practical life skills.
We've had national condom blowing championships, and the team, 2 winners went to Singapore. The biggest condom without bursting. You see, if you start off with humor, people will talk with you.
Bangkok has an unfortunate reputation as a world sex capital, and an alarmingly high incidence of AIDS exists here. So the idea is to make condoms so familiar that people here won't think twice about buying them or using them.
I'm sure they come in here feeling a bit embarrassed about the condom. When they walk out of this restaurant, something's changed.
For the record, the food here at Cabbages and Condoms is very good. This is their signature dish, a spicy salad of fresh herbs, shrimp, and Shanghai noodles, rolled to look like, well, you know. Oh, now I get why you call it a condom salad.
Because it looks a bit, yes. That's the rice, flat rice noodle.
Rolled into tubes. The salad's a spicy blend of fresh herbs, shrimp, and Shanghai noodles. The noodles are made to look like rolled-up condoms. And if you're dining with Mekai, there may be a few real condoms, too. I usually have pretty strict rules about non-edible garnish on my plate, but in your case, I'm going to make a very serious exception. So this is the only place in the world where it's business as usual to hear a guest saying, "Waiter, there's a condom in my salad." Don't get these two confused. Because the last thing that you want to do is eat one of these, and you also don't want to use one of these and think that you're having protected sex.
Right.
Our host is Dashka, along with his wife, his mother, a 15-year-old son, 4-year-old daughter, and a nephew who's just visiting. They live in a ger, a tent that hasn't changed its function or design since the time of Genghis Khan.
Hello.
This evening, he's also got a couple of visitors who've ridden over from neighboring gers. Mongolian nomads are famous for hospitality. Any visitor who turns up will be invited in for a meal and for the night if necessary, and every guest will be offered a bowl of Mongolia's national beverage.
That's fermented mare's milk.
Fermented mare's milk?
That's right.
Making fermented mare's milk, arag, is a big part of nomadic life. They milk the mares several times each day. Then the milk ferments in a big bag of horsehide.
Just take a little sip, huh?
Yeah.
Try not to be too afraid.
Go ahead, man. Yeah. It's pretty good stuff.
Oh, yeah, but look at the smile on his face.
Yeah.
He's wondering if I can. Interesting. Wow. Sour.
It is.
And the nice thing is there's still a little couple mare's hairs floating on the top, which means...
Yeah, that gives you flavor.
This tastes like a mixture of sour cream with lemon juice, but very thin. Yeah, it's not bad. Here's the thing, I would assume for most people this is very, very strange territory. Do you get a lot of visitors?
When I say visitors, I mean foreign visitors.
Yes. Yes, that's it. You're the first.
I am the first? I'm the first! Fantastic!
Just like an American hostess might offer a guest milk and cookies, there's a snack to go with arag.
Thank you.
It's a dried curd.
Dried curd?
Yeah, thank you.
This is different from the dried curds I saw in the city market. Softer and much fresher. All the snacks I'll be served for the first visit are created out of one simple source: heated milk. Cow's milk this time. When the milk separates, they take the curds and set them out on the roof to dry in the sun and air. That's how you make a roll.
Sweet and sour. This is like dried sweetened cottage cheese. This is very good.
Out of that same boiling milk, the family makes cheese by pressing the curds. And urum, a clotted cream they make by skimming off the foam and letting it solidify. You scoop up the urum with pieces of that freshly made cheese.
Wow.
I don't like it.
That's amazing. I mean, that thick, sweet cream
Right.
that holds together. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that. That's like ambrosia. What's this?
That's another product made out of milk. We call it eizgi.
So this is milk transformed into what looks like brown pebbles.
Something like that.
And feels like it too.
It's very rare that I can't remember the last time I've seen a food that completely puzzled me. Completely. How do they make this?
Turns out these are milk curds, fried up in their own fat.
This is crazy. I can't even begin to tell you what this is like, but it's very, very hard, and it hurts your teeth to chew it, and it tastes sort of like scorched milk. It's just amazing.
Mongol warriors used to carry this on campaigns, and still today, Mongolian shepherds bring it along for their day's work. Like everything on this table, it's custom made for this way of life.
I spend my life traveling around the world eating, and I walk into your door, and within 30 seconds, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of food I've never seen before. That's really great.
In honor of having a first-time ever foreign guest, Dashka, my host, is planning a very special lunch. It's called baudug. It involves a goat, a blowtorch, and a lot of innards. The two city guys are given the job of collecting the goat.
I happen to be very good with goats.
Dashka sent word around to the neighbors, so we've got plenty of assistance for the job ahead. Once the goat is quickly dispatched, the men cut away the head, remove the organs, pull out the bones. The goat carcass is now an empty bag that will soon be converted into an oven. Meanwhile, the women are at work, getting the organs ready to cook. All the organs are rubbed down and wrapped with the animal fat, using the intestines as twine. The fat helps keep the meat and organs moist. Outside, there's now a fire of dried animal dung, and the men are heating stones.
Without a tree in sight, the only way to really cook this beast is to heat up a bunch of rocks in a cow and goat poop fire, stuff the carcass with the hot rocks. They just keep alternating rocks, meat, rocks, meat, rocks, meat. Every time one of those hot rocks comes in contact with the flesh and the fat, the smell is just fantastic.
Sometimes the old-fashioned methods work best out on the steppe, but when modern technology can be useful, they use it.
Amazing. Certainly one of the more interesting ways that I've ever seen to get the fur off an animal, and I've seen lots. It's amazing. The smell right now in this gare is so intoxicating. Roasted, goaty, potato-y fantasticness. Guys, just remember, don't eat the rocks.
Now we will give you the rocks.
Yes, exactly. For honored guests.
But we'll eat just about everything else inside this carcass, even the fluids that seeped out of the cooking meat, organs, and fat.
What is this?
That's the soup.
The soup. This soup tastes like the outside of a burnt lamb chop. That's amazing.
Waste not, want not. My hosts save every drop of this juice. At last, we're ready to eat.
Wow. Chewy and fatty, but really good.
I'm going for the meat, but most of the other guys are waiting for this. The skin, with its thick layer of, you guessed it, more fat. But if you're imagining this tasting like the fat off a typical American steak or pot roast, it's not even close.
The fat has so much flavor, so earthy, and so grassy tasting, so clean tasting. But that's because up here, these animals are drinking the cleanest water, eating the cleanest grass.
Right.
I'm searching through this treasure chest for one thing in particular. The liver I saw being wrapped in fat and tied with intestine.
Look at that, you can see that piece of intestine wound around the liver.
The fat is all gone.
Well, that's the whole point, is that it's basted in, and it's because liver can be dry if it's cooked for a long time. So this is genius, the way she wrapped the fat around it. That's pretty darn good. Goat liver is metallic tasting, to say the least. You know? It's very tinny. It's got a very thin, sharp flavor. Very good. The intestines are a little gamey, too. That's got a, you sort of know what you're eating.
Right.
When you eat those.
This is a special day for me and for my hosts. Because of the careful, time-consuming preparation that goes into it, a nomadic family may go a year or two at a time without making bao dog. Carlos Valdez is an artist in disguise. He's the chef and owner here, and the staples on the menu are steaks and burgers that are delicious, but safely mainstream. But Carlos's true passion is for the adventurous stuff he creates by combining local seafood with the beef of his native province of Sonora, from brains to balls, including eyeballs. Yes, folks, these are roasted oysters, stuffed with spinach, topped with clams, and chopped up bull's eyeballs. It's food like this that made me ask my friend Iram to bring me here.
That is really good.
The topping also includes lime juice, garlic, Parmesan cheese, and chili sauce. Sounds like a crazy combination, but it's genius.
Wow. The acid from the hot sauce cuts through that creamy, rich, cheesy. Look at those clams, the salty seafood. The clams are very lean, especially once they're cooked. The fatty beef eye, perfect.
Let me show you what goes into preparing food like this. Bury the head with hot coals beneath, hot ash above, and let bake for about 6 hours. When it comes out, all those heady ingredients are ready. The eyeballs, cheek, palate from the top of the mouth, tongue from the bottom. The brains Carlos removed have been boiled. The bull's blood has been cooked, and it's all ready for the next step. Those ingredients get chopped up, stuffed into hot peppers, and grilled. And then you just serve them up on a bed of avocado puree. Who taught you to cook?
My mother.
Your mother. She must have been a great lady.
Yes.
I gotta try the brain. Look at that creamy deliciousness.
Good. ¿Te gustó?
The brains are creamy, very delicate, and they work so beautifully with all of those sauces, and you really taste the citrus in the avocado puree. That's fantastic. And anyone who thinks the roof of a cow's mouth doesn't sound appetizing should try it this way. So tender, so beefy.
Yeah. Juicy. And...
Oh my God. That's wonderful.
Okay.
That's wonderful. This isn't just good food, it's Baja in a nutshell, or pepper skin. It's a mix of cultures and ingredients from land and across the sea. Turning beef's head into food is classic mainland Mexican cuisine. And some of the ways Carlos uses spices, fruits, and vegetables are adapted from Asia and the Mediterranean. Carlos has saved the best for last, pan-seared baby squid. But it's what's stuffed inside them that makes this extra special.
Amigos.
Oh my.
It's baby squid from San Jose, Iceland, stuffed with
criadillas?
Huevos.
Huevos? Testículos?
Big size.
That's right, squid stuffed with bull balls, pureed bull balls. Carlos and his kitchen staff slice up the balls and drop them into the food processor with some spices and just a little dash of the brains as a flavor enhancer. A lot of thought went into this. I just want to tell you, I really appreciate it. Okay. This is wonderful.
Gracias, Andrew. ¿Qué te parece?
It's great. Buenísimo.
That's some nice squid.
The flavor is very sweet.
That's some nice earthy ball flavor in there too.
Yeah.
Sweaty and gym-like, like an old pair of shorts after a 2-hour volleyball match. The whole point of surf and turf is to match the briny, bright flavors of seafood with the thick, unctuous richness of beef. Well, beef flavor doesn't get any thicker than this. When you taste balls, it tastes like an animal's crotch.
Pruebas los intestinos y todo esto, sabe.
It tastes like the place on the animal that it's from. You know, I think that's good. This is one of the most memorable meals I'll find anywhere in Baja. And I haven't even tried the specialty of the house. But what the heck? The night is young. Everybody says you make the best steak in town. If I eat the rest of all this, you'll grill me a steak?
Definitivamente, es el mejor steak. Okay.
You're a good man.
Okay.
This is La Diferencia. The look of the building is a mix of styles from all of Mexico. And so is the food. La Diferencia is what Baja is all about. A mixing bowl of Mexican cultures. It's the work of Francisco Ucel, an architect who built other people's restaurants for years, and finally built his own.
We love Mexico.
Yeah.
My family loves Mexico. We are in all the towns of Mexico. And my wife and I go to the mercados and eat in the mercados.
Yeah.
And when we see something that we love we
bring it here.
Of course.
La Diferencia's real claim to fame is in the kitchen. In some cases, they create modern food with ingredients from Mexico's pre-Hispanic past, like bone marrow, and bugs, like grasshoppers and ant larvae. Chef Rodolfo Luniano sautés grasshoppers with avocado and sautés the ant larva in butter with onions. Even when you wrap it in blue corn tortillas with spicy green sauce, the ant larva flavor comes sailing through. That's wonderful. There's a funky, musty sort of, it's desirable, it's good. You know, sort of like mushrooms, there's a mildewy quality to it that I just think is fantastic. The tiny ant larvae are traditionally harvested from the roots of the tequila and mezcal plants throughout Mexico.
Many people come too, because we are the only restaurant 300 miles in the rendezvous we have it.
So fresh, too. It's the same story with the grasshoppers. I've probably eaten as many grasshoppers as most Americans have eaten potato chips. People all over the world eat them today for the same reason the Aztecs did, a cheap and plentiful source of protein. But I've never had grasshoppers in such elegant surroundings, served with avocado on handmade blue corn sopes.
The sope is very soft and nutty, and the teeny little critters are very crispity and lemony. The salsa is perfect. The avocado finishes it. That's very, very nice.
Aztecs scoop their bone marrow from deer and wild boar. Chef Rodolfo uses beef bones. He sautés the bone marrow with onions and mushrooms in the marrow's own fat.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Big, beautiful gobs of fat.
Marrow has a texture like chunky petroleum jelly, and its flavor is deep and nutty.
Wow.
You like it?
Well, I'm kind of a bone marrow guy. I just love that fatty, beefy flavor that you only get from bone marrow.
The real backbone of pre-Hispanic Mexican food was what it remains today, corn. And of all the many, many ways to prepare and eat corn, none was more prized than this. That black stuff is stinky, slimy black tumors of infected corn mold. This is huitlacoche. The name literally means raven poop. In the cornfields of America and Europe, they call it corn smut and consider it a disease that destroys the crop. But for the Aztecs, the disease became a delicacy. So even today in Mexico, this fungus is more expensive than the corn it destroys. Here at La Diferencia, the thick, gooey stuff goes inside a delicate agave crepe with spiced lamb and chili poblano sauce.
I love corn fungus.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no words that can describe the sort of wonderful, oddball, old cedar closet up in the attic kind of smell and taste that huitlacoche has. It's just remarkable. And I love black food. It's great. It's like Squid Ink, you know, or...
La Diferencia really is different from your garden variety Mexican restaurant. Deliciously different.
You're a lucky guy. I'm surprised you don't weigh 700 pounds. Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
Thank you for coming.